Thanks, Phil. Thanks to Paydirt for the opportunity to present. I think this is our fourth Battery Minerals conference. Can say 4 years ago these were a much smaller affair, probably about a third of the room here, and it's great to see that the focus and the interest in this space. When we started on this journey, we started as cobalt explorers in British Columbia, and very quickly we started to go up to South Korea and build some relationships with the lithium-ion battery industry, and quickly they said to us, can we stop worrying about the cobalt, we need to get on with this nickel idea, and so they gave us this idea of moving towards a high nickel cathode. So about 3 years ago we went into Vietnam, and you can see there we've got a previously operating nickel mine. It's been operated between 2013 and 2016. The previous operation closed in 2016 when the nickel price was $8,000 per tonne. Today, unfortunately, we don't really know what the nickel price is because of the debacle on the LME, but it's much higher than when this mine previously operated. But the good thing here is that the previous owners sunk $136 million, and they didn't do any real exploration. And so we've come in and uncovered what we think is a globally significant nickel sulfide district, but we're now looking at building a downstream nickel refinery and a vertically integrated nickel business that is focused on the chemical products for the lithium-ion battery. So yeah, it is a vertically integrated business model, very similar to Nickel West in Western Australia. Nickel West is built on the stainless steel industry. We're going to build this vertically integrated business for the lithium-ion battery industry. We're going to do it completely different. We're going to use a hydrometallurgical technology which is much cleaner and greener. We're looking at using 100% renewable power. So we're looking at a clean and green product that is specifically suited for the lithium-ion battery. So it's a chemical product. It's called a precursor. It has a nickel, cobalt and manganese in a chemical product in the ratio of 8:1:1. And the reason we're doing it in Vietnam is not just because of the renewable power and the lowest labour costs in the world, but we've got what we think is a globally significant nickel sulfide district. So in the first 3 years we've unlocked 485,000 tonnes of nickel. We've got about 12 drill rigs operating, so plenty of good work happening on the geology front. I'll try not to get into too much geological detail. Being an engineer myself, it doesn't really excite me too much, but we will touch a little bit on the geology because it is exciting for the geologists in the room. I think the other thing that is worth mentioning, and it's a really important part of our strategy, is this partnership model. Very similar to Chris, we've found partners that are the best in the world at what they do. The groups that we're talking to are the world's leaders in lithium-ion battery and cathode technology, particularly the high nickel cathode. So we're working with those major players in the downstream business, and they will bring the funding and the technology required to unlock what we think will be a significant business in Blackstone Minerals. Well funded at the moment. Last cash position at the end of the last quarter, $60 million. Market cap sort of sits around 180, 190 million. A lot of liquidity in the stock. We've worked very hard on that, and plenty of liquidity for any big shareholders out there. If you want to get in, you can get in pretty easily, and you can get out pretty easily, and so that's always a positive when you're starting to get up the market cap to really introduce those institutional investors. And as does the analyst coverage as well, has been very important. Phil's actually one of our coverage analysts. I'm not sure if he's got the highest price target, but they sit all around about $1. So we're trading at 40 cents. So it's good value in the stock from those covering analysts. Some major shareholders there. So we've got EcoPro. They're the largest cathode manufacturer in the world. They're a South Korean group. They have a representative on the board, Mr. Jung. We can also see we're working with the Korean Development Bank as our debt advisor. We've been able to attract other major institutions like Fidelity. So that's testament to the business that we're looking to build. The fact that we can introduce world-leading financial institutions like Fidelity, and we've also got some great support out of Germany in Deutsche Balaton. The board and management, so it's a group of mining engineers and geologists, and then we've got Miss Alison Gaines to sort of keep us in line. She's the corporate governance expert, and she's brought a lot of expertise in board and corporate governance, so that it's a great team that we've pulled together, and looking to build a big nickel refining business. I won't talk too much about the macro, but you can see as an industry, currently around 383,000 tonnes per annum of nickel goes into the lithium-ion battery industry. That needs to be 1.9 million tonnes per annum by 2030. So it's a big challenge as an industry. The only way we're going to do that is through exploration and development. To put that 1.9 million tonnes per annum in perspective, Nickel West, which is one of the world's leaders and largest nickel mining groups, they do about 100,000 tonnes per annum. Norilsk, who is the largest in the world, Class 1 nickel producer, they do 200,000 tonnes per annum. So we need 1.9 million tonnes per annum. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to come from, but we'll be doing our best as Blackstone to deliver as much as we can into that demand. So this is a snapshot of the business. We have the upstream business, which is the previously operating Bandfork Nickel Mine and the Tarkwa Nickel Sulphide District. We have a number of investments that we've made into other nickel mining groups that we will be looking to feed into our downstream business. 50% of our product for our downstream business will come from our Tarkwa Nickel Sulphide project. 50% will come from third-party feed providers, particularly from areas like Australia and Canada. So the nickel concentrate miners in Australia will be potential feedstocks into our downstream business. The downstream is where we convert nickel concentrate into a precursor NCM 811. The intermediate product is MHP, which is a mixed hydroxide precipitate. That is where we'll bring in the downstream partners. They will be minority or interest partners or joint venture partners in the downstream business. We haven't finalised what those structures look like, but that's where we will bring in the funding. These groups will bring large capital funding to the table. They'll also bring the technology that allows us to unlock these downstream products, and then ultimately we'll be feeding enough nickel for 0.5 to 750,000 electric vehicles. So it's a large-scale integrated upstream and downstream business in northern Vietnam. Just at the upstream level, this is our district. You can see 485,000 tonnes of nickel so far. That's only in the first 3 years of exploration. We think that there's many more years of exploration ahead of us. We've unlocked the first 5 ore bodies. There's 25 targets. We're just systematically working through with our geophysics teams. We have local geophysicists. We have 2 electromagnetics field crews, just systematically working through what we think could be a world-class nickel sulphide district. Very similar geology to Jinchuan and Norilsk. It's a magmatic nickel sulphide, similar to some of the ore bodies that we also have in Western Australia. So this is where we're located, in that northern Vietnam region. We're 5 hours west of Hanoi in the Son La province. Son La has the largest hydroelectric power plant in Southeast Asia, and that's where we'll be sourcing our 100% renewable power. You can see down at the port city of Haiphong is where the local conglomerate, the Vin Group, which is Vietnam's largest conglomerate, is building electric vehicles and also lithium-ion batteries. So we're looking to be able to vertically integrate and localise the supply chain, minimise the carbon footprint, minimise the transportation of nickel. This is a major issue with the industry. We're sending our nickel around the world 3 or 4 times. We've got the opportunity to do it all in northern Vietnam and minimise the carbon footprint for our ultimate partners, which will be groups like the VinFast Electric Vehicle Company. We have some very supportive tax structures. You can see in the early years of the investment, 0% tax rate moving to 5% tax rate, and an ultimate tax rate of only 20%. So some real incentives for foreign direct investment. This is an area where the Korean investment has been very large from groups like LG and Samsung. they've invested $20 billion into this region. So it's a really growth hub. It's one of the largest growth stories in the world at the moment, happening in the northern Vietnam region where we are. So our downstream business really built on this chart. So you can see that we purchase nickel concentrate from our mine on a arm's length basis. We'll also buy from third-party feed providers. We pay around 75 to 80% payability, or a discount to the LME nickel price. Then we convert it into the NCM 811 precursor product. That trades at 120 to 140% payability, so a 20 to 40% premium on the LME nickel price. So effectively doubling the value of nickel by converting it into this chemical product including cobalt and manganese in that ratio of 8:1, and we're effectively doubling the value of the nickel. So it's very similar to making hamburgers. You buy all the ingredients, you put them together, and then you sell it at a premium, and that's effectively what we're doing for the nickel industry. And we're going to do it the cleanest and greenest in the world. We have trademarked the green nickel. We are the world leaders, we believe, in green nickel. The reason we can say that is we're moving towards net zero carbon, not in 2050 or 2030, but from day one. So we'll be pushing net zero carbon from day one. The way we can do that is because we've got the 100% renewable power. We're using a pressure oxidation clean hydromet technology. We're looking at electric mining equipment. So we've put a full electric mining fleet in our pre-feasibility study, which we recently announced. So we have a corporate commitment to ESG, and we believe we'll be one of the cleanest and greenest nickel producers in the market. Just on that recently updated pre-feasibility study, this is our vertically integrated upstream and downstream pre-feasibility study. You can see that the mine will produce around 18,000 tonnes per annum of nickel over a 10-year period. We'll then convert that nickel into the downstream NCM 811 product. We will bring in 50% of the feed from other third-party feed providers from areas like Australia and Canada. We'll upgrade that as well. The ultimate NPV at a base case, very conservative pricing of $2 billion, a post-tax internal rate of return of 47%. So some very strong economics if you can source the nickel, and that's really what it's all about. It's about security of supply from our mine, locking in security of supply from our partners around the world. We're working with Canadians, we're working with Australians. We'll lock in the supply and unlock what is a significant downstream business with that $2 billion NPV. And that's all happening over the next 2 to 3 years. We're looking to bring this online in mid-2025. We're halfway through a definitive feasibility study for our downstream. We're using Wood, the world leaders in hydromet, and we're about to kick off our definitive feasibility study for the upstream business. We're currently piloting our downstream hydromet technology at the ALS laboratories in Perth. So we're all guns blazing here. We've got a team of chemical engineers that we're building, and a really exciting project. We're building a large-scale concentrator, 8 million tonnes per annum, and then converting it into these downstream products through a pressure oxidation downstream flow sheet. Just back on the ore body. So this is our flagship ore body. This is Ben Phuc. This is the Baseload Feed. It's very similar size and scale to Mount Keith. It's large-scale open pit, low strip ratio mining, 3-to-1 strip ratio. You can see this is our co-disposal waste dump. So instead of a conventional tailings facility, we're looking at a co-disposal tailings and waste dump. And you can see the footprint of that. So that reduces our overall environmental footprint and mitigates the risks around conventional tailings. You can see this is some of our high-grade underground mines. So we've got a number of other sources, so many different sources for our upstream mine. These are our high-grade massive sulfides. We're also looking at this large Chimban target. That's 15 times the size of our Ban Phuc ore body, where we're looking at the open pit. So we're pretty excited to be looking to drill this in the coming weeks. This is our flow sheet. So it's pressure oxidation, solvent extraction, tried and tested technology used in the mining industry since the 1960s. then further processing into that NCM 811 product. There you can see some of the strong economics. You can see at the spot price when we announced the pre-feasibility study, it was actually $3.6 billion. That was before the recent increase in nickel price, so we don't even like to put today's spot price in there. It would be multiple billions of dollars. So yeah, plenty of upside. We just need to unlock some of these downstream products. You can see that they trade at a significant premium, 20 to 40% premium to the LME nickel price. The other thing that's interesting is we can pay a little bit extra for our concentrate. So if we were to pay 5 or 10% above market rate for our concentrate, we're still driving strong NPVs in that $1.8 to $2 billion range. So just in summary, we're on a fast track to be building a vertically integrated downstream business. We're looking at producing the first stage of the lithium-ion battery. It's a product called a precursor in that NCM 811. We're piloting that at the moment in the ALS laboratories. We're doing a second pilot plant in Vietnam later in the year. We're looking to finalise our partners. We're working with the world's leaders in cathode and battery technology. We're also looking at bringing in third-party feed, so we're keen to talk to anyone that wants to supply us nickel concentrate, and then towards the end of the year looking towards a final investment decision and starting that build phase in northern Vietnam. So thank you for your time.